It's a little late in the year to say Happy New Year to all of you. It's too late. It's not even Chinese New Year. We passed that as well. So actually, I'm not going to say Happy New Year to you, but I'm going to tell you who said Happy New Year to whom. This is a case on 1st of January 2016 in India, where a bank was robbed on 1st of January. And the bank was robbed, and in less than 10 minutes, 6 people came into the bank, put a gun on the branch manager's head, ran away with about, if I'm not mistaken, close to $50,000 or $100,000 in cash, and also took away the recorder. And the cheek that they left behind was they left a Happy New Year card for the branch manager. So the evidence was gone. Now, how many out of the audience work for the police or are from the police department? Anybody from the police? No. Well, I don't think it's a very big question that has a difficult answer. Is that how does the police solve the case if there's no evidence? And this happens day in and day out because no criminal wants to leave evidence behind. So besides the fact that they will take away anything that's valuable, they're also going to take away the evidence. But the larger question is, how did they manage to steal so much of money in less than 10 minutes? Nobody walks into a bank, puts a gun and walks away with so much money, right? So you will agree with me that no crime can take place without adequate planning and adequate recce's. So they must have come to the branch several times. They must have seen which was the best time to when the bank and the bank manager were vulnerable and when they could very quickly do what they needed to do. Let's come to this year when Westminster was attacked. And after Westminster we saw Manchester. And after Manchester we saw London again. Masood conducted a recce 96 hours before attacking Westminster. Right? And the attack has prompted fresh thinking in the UK that they need to think out of the box about how we can solve these kind of problems. In our own country at the Taj, David Headley, who was the main chief perpetrator, stayed in the hotel for about a month, conducting recce's, taking pictures, moving around. Paris, Nice, Berlin, Istanbul, Dhaka, Pathankot, wherever you see terror attacks, I'm talking about terror attacks now, wherever you see these attacks, recce's are common. Because as I said earlier, no criminal wants to be caught. Now I'm going to show you a video, and it's a little disturbing. So, excuse me, but it needs to make a point. Can you play the video, please? Oh yeah. Now this is a 9-month-old baby in a play school, and she's being tossed around by this sick woman because the child was crying. And there is a camera that's looking at it. So I think you get the idea. I don't need to show this to you anymore. Now, at the end of the day, how does a 9-month-old baby tell her parents what happened? The child can't talk. So how does she explain the case? And there is a camera that's watching. So what use was that camera if it could not prevent this? And do you think that this woman would have done this for the first time? She probably was a serial offender. This is the point that I'm trying to make. What I'm trying to say in this talk is that unfortunately the world is only increasing video. All we are doing is just putting up more cameras, but we are not looking at what the camera saw. Now all of you here have your respective mobile phones. All of you take pictures. All of you use this to take videos. But what is the first thing that you do after you take a picture or a video? You look at it. You will never share a video or a photo without looking at it. So what you have in fact done is you have actually audited the video or audited the pictures that you've taken. And this is exactly the case with CCTV. We look at CCTV as users only when things go wrong, in the expectation and hope that just because nothing has gone wrong, we believe everything is fine. But that's not true. And I'm going to prove it to you that it's not true. So we go back to a case, and this happens every day. There is this case about this, excuse me, this little girl who's being taken to the 10th floor of a school because this man, who's probably the teacher from the school, wants to molest her. And this has happened. These are all real cases. Which perpetrator will want to commit the crime on day one? So what he or she will do is take the child to one floor on one day, another corner another day, a third corner on the third day, because he or she wants to ensure that the child is not crying, he will not get caught, and so on. So this is nothing but a recce. Now the cameras are watching all this, but we are not able to prevent this kind of crime. How will video analytics discover child beating in a school? Child abuse? No chance. Or somebody who is smoking in a gas station. So are you waiting for the gas station to blow up? The camera is watching that. But no, we are expecting the video analytics to tell us that something is wrong. A guard who you are paying for to manage your bank has actually gone to sleep. And this happens. This is a fact. He's actually gone to sleep. And we expect video analytics to tell us. Or you walk into a store and you are not attended to by the sales staff. How will analytics tell us? Or how will analytics tell us that the shelves in a department store are empty? Or there is water leakage maybe somewhere. So the question is that is video analytics the only answer to discovering all type of exceptions, or should we also be thinking about human analytics? Combine human analytics and video analytics and you have a foolproof story. And let's also remember the case of false alarms, very heavy investments and expertise that is needed for all this fancy equipment. So this is my question. As users of CCTV, should we not be looking at what the camera saw? I already spoke about this. Day in and day out, we also face lots of non-compliance issues. Cameras are watching those non-compliance issues. Somebody is not following procedures, protocol. How will automated systems tell us that? So today, if you actually go to see, CCTV has become fit and forget. Nobody is proactive. Nobody is looking at CCTV proactively as a standard operating procedure. As I said, people look at CCTV only when something goes wrong or when they expect an alert-based system to tell them what has gone wrong, and that is not going to work. So, as users of CCTV, are we gaining the fullest of outcomes from CCTV? Sadly, the answer is no. The British government has in fact begun to cut down on budgets of CCTV. Once upon a time, they spent the maximum amount of money, and today that same government is cutting down on budgets. Is the UK CCTV boom over? Is it the end of the CCTV era? But are we missing something in taking this kind of an action? Are we shooting the messenger? Is the camera at fault or are we at fault? The camera is not at fault. Are we perhaps missing something that's a little more fundamental? CCTV can actually deliver unthinkable benefits. It's a fantastic medium for rich visual information if used correctly. And a little more needs to be done. You need to make CCTV work for you to gain valuable outcomes. And what is that we need to do? Just three things. Audit CCTV as a standard operating procedure. See on a daily basis what your camera saw. At least your critical cameras. Even if you have 500 cameras, it doesn't matter. Maybe there are 100 which are critical. Store CCTV smartly. In this age and day today, we only store CCTV by number of days and number of months. And after 7 days or 30 days, it's overwritten. Data is gone. And the third thing that you need to do is we need to report incidents in a standardized format. So let's look at what is the benefit that we will gain from auditing CCTV as a standard operating procedure. Better situational awareness, prevention of fraud, loss and crime, better safety, better customer and employee satisfaction, health and safety compliance, better performance, better productivity, and you will be able to gain actionable intelligence just from auditing CCTV. Auditing CCTV helps you to discover exceptions that cannot be discovered by algorithm-based systems. And all the examples that I gave you earlier, you can go around and ask any algorithm-based system here, ask them, will they be able to discover an exception of the kind that I have mentioned earlier? Auditing may be post-incident, but it is a very systematic and dedicated activity that allows you to take corrective and preventive action. If you know something has been going wrong, if you've seen that going wrong, you'll be able to take corrective and preventive action. Today, a lot of companies are running video on a post-facto basis to ensure that compliances have taken place in their production lines. The second part that we need to do is to back up CCTV smartly. You should back it up so that your data size is reduced hugely. You should be able to recover that backup 50 years later. 50 years later. Who knows why you would need it? And data should be able to be searched easily. The world needs to also adopt a standardized format of reporting. A criminal incident in this country is no different from a criminal incident in India or in the US or in the UK. Now, when a police officer comes to investigate, He only asks you 7 questions, he or she. What, when, where, why, who and how. And do you have CCTV? Now, if you as the affected party of the crime give the policeman or policewoman an incident report answering all these questions in PowerPoint, in one click, it can be shared across the country. Why should we have non-standard formats? When the incident is the same, why should you have non-standard formats? From incident reports, you should be able to gain business intelligence. That is the value of incident reports. You should be able to know on what days, what time, what type of incidents are taking place. That allows you to take corrective and preventive action. Video today is not just about CCTV. Video comes from drones, video comes from mobile cameras, video comes from UAVs, video comes from body-worn cameras. Let's not waste this information. It's rich visual information that allows us to take better decisions. In 2012, the US Air Force was recording 1,000 hours of data every day. Maybe it's 2,000 hours of data video today. And they have acknowledged that the best tools to look at this video are still the eyeball and the human brain. It's very difficult for them to go through so much of information. And remember that video is not just about crime. It's also about climate change. It's also about forests. It's also about agriculture. Wherever there is video, you need to see it. If you don't see video, you are wasting this information. Finally, let's look at the new angle of making effective use of CCTV. Let's look at something called crowdsourced surveillance. Imagine if all of you, maybe you have a camera at home, maybe you've got camera in your offices, maybe you've got camera in your businesses. If you start auditing your own videos on a daily basis, you will contribute to community policing, to crowdsourced surveillance. Maybe you will observe something that needs to be told to the police, and you might be able to save the next terror attack. Let's wake up these eyes, extra eyes that are in a sleep mode. Today, these eyes are sleeping. They are only there, but they are sleeping. This hidden information will become very useful to law enforcement agencies. So CCTV must be decentralized. You can have command centers, but you must decentralize it, because of the best situational awareness is in decentralized monitoring. And instead of my last couple of slides, this is a recommendation that instead of saying you are under video surveillance, we need to have a standard sign that says we check CCTV every day. Imagine that if you had a sign with the same color, same size across the world with the same message, we check CCTV every day. It's a lot more powerful message than to say you are under video surveillance. How is that helped? World over you have these signs, but crime is still taking place. And remember that if you start auditing and start finding things that are going wrong, you will be able to decrease your insurance premium. Because if crime and losses begin to go down, you can go and negotiate better premium rates with your insurance company. So I thank you. That was the end of my slide. Thanks very much. We have a technology that does all of this, everything that I've said, which allows you as users to audit 24 hours of video in as little as 24 minutes without missing anything. We are in booth 418, F18. Please come and take a look at this technology. It's a very interesting technology. It works with all cameras, all video management systems, existing cameras, new cameras, and this will really give you the benefit of the outcomes of crime and loss prevention. So thank you very much. I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, doesn't seem so. Seems everybody understood what I said. All right, thanks.